Hello and no. In 7, 6. Okay, that's fancy. Hello and welcome everyone to this very special episode where we'll be talking about how to win local SEO in 2019. And we have two wonderful guests with us who are amazing. They are the masters of this topic, and that's why they're here. And everyone knows them already. But let's start with quick introductions of both of them so that even if you don't know about them, you can know them now. So let's start with our Indian rock star, that Soni, who works at Obbserv. He actually owns this company. So Ravi, how about you introducing yourself now?
Hi everyone. This is Ravi. I'm the co-founder of Obbserv. Thank you, Nitin, for inviting me and for sharing my views on this fantastic topic. Um okay, so to define myself, I will say that there are two things which are very important for me in my life: the purpose and the people. So a purpose can define me better, and for me to live my life is the purpose for simplifying the consumer experience. And as I say, people. So me with my team are building a great place to work as a journey as we move forward. And for the same on like the same lines, we are right now solving a very fantastic problem, which is like how we can bring more retail footfalls to a particular store, and that's like motivated us a lot, and we are focusing upon that to solve for the world. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Ravi, for joining us. It's really a pleasure to have you again. And Ravi, what's your
Thank
favorite SEO aspect these days? What are you working on?
I think we are working on two things. One thing, we are actually building a tribe where we can integrate a methodology for increasing authority for any portals. That's one thing which is the biggest problem to solve for most of the SEO
Yeah.
experts. And the second thing which we are focusing upon is the hyperlocal SEO.
Yeah.
As Google is making is more related, like the intent is more going hyperlocally advanced, and it is
Yeah.
becoming more related to where you are standing. Actually, you actually
Yeah.
do everything on mobile. So how
Absolutely.
can we leverage that aspect? Yeah.
Sounds
So
good.
that's very
Sounds
important.
good. Yeah. And Ravi, I see you everywhere. You're speaking at, I think, IIT, and
Yeah.
then you're also contributing in different ways to this SEO community. You want to speak something about that as well?
So we have taken as an initiative. The initiative is called as the Element O. So we are
Mhm.
building a tribe of people where we can actually share our value with everyone so that they can share and keep the chain alive. That's the main objective. And for the same, so in IIT, I'm a guest faculty for digital marketing. That's how I actually lead a couple of courses also over there. And it like brings more satisfaction to me when I share when I share what we really do at Observe. That's really important. And yeah, along with that, we are actually enabling more people to don't go by the jargons and all, but by go by the concepts and the essential aspects, which can really help them to build value for the world. That's the whole objective. Nitin?
Like Ninten's gone for drinks. Maybe it's over, or maybe it was hit for six. Mm.
How are you, Peter?
Very good, Ravi. Yes, great to be with you.
Yeah,
Yes, terrific to join the SEMrush webinar, and
yeah.
of course the SEMrush webinars. You know, I've been involved with them for a little while. And I think I just wanted to, maybe while we're waiting for Nitin, I might jump in actually. Nitin, you're back.
Yeah, I'm
Nitin,
facing some technical issues at my end. I'm really sorry about that.
Okay. I was
no,
filling in
no.
time.
Yeah,
I thought
so
you,
I'm sorry.
you might to polish the ball or something. And
No, I'm back. I'm glad I'm back.
yeah,
All right.
okay.
Thank you so much, Ravi, once again for the lovely introduction and joining us. And yes, so Peter already started his introduction. He's really excited. So let's, hear more about Peter. So Peter, it's all yours now.
Thanks, Nitin. And really appreciate being asked to join this webinar. And hello to everybody and all the cricket fans as well. And but of course, what we're talking about today is local SEO, where really it's becoming so much more of all the different types of SEO are really having a local aspect. I started making websites and trying to get them found online back in about 1997. That was before Google. Mostly, Alta Vista and Netscape Navigator, things like that. Back in those days, I felt a lot like the internet was a project. It was everybody was helping each other. We're all part of the internet community. The alt news groups and forums, etc. And so I've always been very passionate about the internet and search marketing, and the search marketing community, the SEO community, the willingness of people to share ideas and help each other. And I think you'll find all of the great, all of the really good SEO people who are helping, who are putting themselves out there to share ideas. And I think this is what makes SEO communities so great. I'm as I said, I'm passionate about the community. So I'm a co-organizer of the Melbourne SEO meetup group, and I also organize another special meetup group, and it's called the Search Marketing Professionals. That's smprofs.com, and we've had some terrific speakers coming and speaking to us as well. And also, of course, let's not forget about the SEMrush community, and they do so much for all of us search marketers. Of course, we have the Australian Search Marketing Awards coming up on November 12th, and which is great for Aussies. It's been really great for the Australian search marketing industry. And so, of course, I encourage anybody to enter those awards. I was involved last year. It's terrific at the Sydney Opera House. But we also have a number of other little things happening around in Melbourne. We've got the Melbourne SEO beers, and people like Jason Munn and Brodie Clark. Also people like Nick Ranger and a bunch of people who are really into the community. So this is what we're all about. And of course, anyone who wants to reach out to me so far as being part of the community, always feel free to reach out anytime, and just to catch up for a coffee, anything like that. So how that's about me, and I just wonder how everyone's going. I'm seeing a lot of blank screens here. Looks like I might be everyone might be having technical difficulties by the look of it, and I might be the only one left alive at this point. We're getting a few wickets taken. Yeah. How you going, Nitin? Did you get run out?
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Wonderful having your favorite SEO aspect these. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, lovely. Yeah. So I was asking, what's your favorite SEO aspect these days?
Well, I think I've been through lots of flashy new ideas, and we're trying to get into all kinds of things, schema and all these different tactics. But I'm going back. I'm going back to the old favorite. I'm going back to link building. Link building is my powerhouse. at the moment.
Wow.
And I'm
Wow.
talking about big brand links, really going after great, really good, solid, big links. These are the kind of things that really excites me. When you
Yeah.
land
Link.
these big links, the feeling is terrific. So that's me.
Yeah. Cool. That sounds good. That sounds good. And this link building, is that after meeting Craig Gamble in Portugal?
Craig Campbell in Portugal. He yes. Well, let me say there that Craig
He's a
will.
master this,
He,
right?
but Craig is absolute master of this, and
Yeah.
but let me say that he's a master, and I am not the master. What they call me sometimes is Godfather. So yeah, so we'll see where that all goes. You still there, Ravi?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, you're still in the
Nitin?
game. Yeah, looks like
Yeah.
Lyndon's frozen. uh,
Hey, Peter.
So what
yes.
do you think? What is the most important aspect
Yeah.
for? Okay, yeah,
So let's start the real show, and
yeah.
we'll start with Peter, who would be talking about
Yeah.
local SEO.
Okay. Okay. I will show my slides, and let's jump into what I've got here for some slides, and it's starting on the wrong page. Looks like lots of technical issues today, guys, and I apologize for this, but let's start here. Local SEO basics. Okay. This is my Twitter handle. Please feel free to follow me, and I will always answer questions if I can. What we're talking about here is maximize. What we want to do is maximize local Google My Business search traffic. This is really, in a nutshell, what we're trying to do in general when we talk about local SEO. Of course, there's much more to it than that, but this is the simplest way to sum it all up in one single slide. We want to maximize Google My Business search traffic. So what does this mean? Well, how does it work on a practical level? Okay. Well, I'm in Melbourne, and I'm sitting around at the train station waiting for my train connection in the morning, and I want a coffee. So what do? I go to my phone, or if I'm sitting, I've got my desktop open. The image on the left here is from a desktop result. The image on the right is from a phone result. I guess what we're doing here is, what we're trying to do is be present on the maps, because this is where the whole thing with Google My Business started years and years ago, when it was, the Google Maps listings, really what it's all about. And it knows where we are, it knows where I'm searching from, and it knows the best coffee near me. And of course, it has everything on this result that I will need to be able to go close by. I can click on directions. I can share it to someone else who, if I want a friend to meet me, I guess the benefits of being found in these kind of local search results, those benefits are just untold. And so how do we first start to see where do we stand? Okay, so we say, okay, well, I want to be found just like Starbucks. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good, but where do we start? And so I would suggest, there are many tools out there that will help us to get some understanding of what does the shape of our local SEO look like? What do our listings look like? How do we know where we're starting from? Are we anywhere? Are we nowhere? So I would suggest, this great new tool. I'm sure people have heard of it, the SEMrush tool, the listings management tool. I think it's a great way to get started. I mean, we come up to the top section here, and we can choose our country, put the business name in, the address and the phone number, and hit the button, and we can check our listings. I mean, here's the interesting thing that I find actually quite interesting is that we can see here that actually a lot of companies have a lot of issues with their listings, and it's very, very common for businesses, local businesses, to have issues with their listings. I would say if you are trying to get ahead, you are going to need to think about your listings. But where do we start? Okay, we've started here by looking what does the shape of things look like. Okay, so we're talking here about local SEO basics. So here I'd say are 6 basic areas we can focus on. 6 basic areas. And what I would say is, first, we need to either create, claim, and verify our listing. And so here's where we talk about, how to create a listing if you don't have one, or claim a pre-existing listing. And we also have multiple options for verifying. Okay, so once we've done that, we want to talk about adding business information, the business name, the industry, the address, phone number, all the details, all the kinds of things that are going to help people, help it to be useful, so that business listing is useful. And then, of course, photos. People these days are very visual. They will look at the photos of your services. If you've got coffee, how good does the coffee look? If you've got cakes, how great are the cakes? What about photos of people enjoying themselves, or the inside of your coffee shop, whatever else you are looking at? Now, reviews, of course. When we think of local SEO, reviews are very, very important. And not just getting reviews, but how do you respond to those reviews? And also, how do you treat negative reviews? And also, I would say that's something very, very important. Now, here's another one we're talking about here is Google Posts. And here's one. We can do events, we can do promotions. And what we're trying to do is really turn this into more useful. So this is not just a matter of someone finding your information when they just want to go and grab a quick coffee. What you're talking about here is now it's becoming more useful for people to find out information, find out what's going on. Are you hosting an event? Do you have some other types of posts? And then, of course, with any kind of SEO, we need to measure. So we need to look at the insights. I would make a bold statement here, and that is, if we're not measuring the work we're doing, then we're really not doing SEO at all. We're just sort of poking around, trying to have a go at it. But the difference between that is when we start measuring our results and being purposeful on the changes that we're actually making and the way we're trying to get those results. So that's where the insights come in. These are the 6 areas for getting your basics right. Now, I would suggest we can start here by saying, okay, create, claim, verify. First thing we need to understand is, are you actually eligible for a Google My Business listing? Because not every business is eligible. The idea is that to be eligible, it really needs to be a business that has some kind of face-to-face interaction. It used to be the case where Google would actually sometimes call up a business and ask them, are you a bricks and mortar business? Because some people had some listings and which weren't particularly meant to be there. And so they, when they actually called people and said, are you a bricks and mortar business? Well, yes or no. And sometimes they would remove the listing. I mean, of course, now we don't need to always be bricks and mortar business, but what we need to have a physical location, or we need to travel to visit the customers. So it's all about, do we have a face-to-face interaction with our customers? And so then we need to think about do we create or claim our listing? Well, let's just talk about so first of all, let's go to google.com/business, and we can go and we can select start now in the top right hand corner and fill out where you are located, and then from that we talk about the business, the business that the area, the location that you're in. And if you are servicing an area, you would need to tick the I deliver goods to my customers, and that is the way of having that. I travel to visit my customers. You'll need to specify whether your service is specific areas or whether it's distance around your business location. And then from that, we need to start choosing our business categories. Now, this actually is a really terrific way for you to get a bit of a I guess edge here, because for instance, let's look at two different words here. If you're an advertising agency or if you're an advertising service, well, let's think about it, right? If you choose the category for advertising agency, well, you do the keyword research and you can see that advertising agency has 1,000 searches per month. So we've got a keyword volume of 1,000 versus advertising service, which only has 50 searches per month. So I guess using some more intelligence to choose what our business categories are. And obviously, this is the kind of way we need to think when we're doing SEO. Not to use more obscure things, or just really at the end of the day, we're trying to choose the most appropriate category, but we want to get some benefit from that. Obviously, we need to fill out our contact details, and then we need to hit the button, and we are ready to verify. Of course, verifying has traditionally been probably one of the tricky parts of this. And of course, it used to always only be the case where we had to have a postcard sent out to us, and the postcard has a number. We need to enter the number in to verify our business listing. But typically it'll take about 5 business days to receive your postcard. But now we can also do phone verifications. We can do email verifications. There's other kinds of instant verifications. If you have your Google My Business verified through your Google Search Console, there's also video verifications as well. But plus, mind you, when you're getting more serious, you can do bulk verifications where you need to fill out a form, and it could take up to a week for Google to review it and approve it. But these are all the ways of getting your listing into Google My Business. Once we've done this, we need to start thinking, okay, let's add some more business information. Let's make this very usable for our audience. And make sure your opening hours are correct. And the amount of times businesses, they just don't have that accurate opening hours. It's so important. People, if businesses only knew how many times a customer will check to see if your shop is open before they get in to the car or before they hop onto the train to come to visit your business, they will check. They'll go to Google My Business and they will check to see if your business is open. Who wants to go all the way downtown to the other side of the city just to find that your business is closed? So this is very important. And of course, the telephone, your website address, as many descriptions as you can. Make sure your categories are good, and of course the attributes are very important. So let's go. How am I going for time, Nitin? Am I on track? You'll tell me, will you?
Yeah, you can take 3 more minutes if you can wrap up in
Okay.
that.
Photos.
Yeah.
Let me keep going here. Photos are something which has long been a tactic for people with their local SEO. Adding photos is a terrific way of doing this, and all kinds of photos. We're talking about here exterior photos, interior photos, photos of your products, people working, food and drink photos, anything which will help those customers want to come and visit your store. And look, there's all kinds of things you can do. Which is better? Can you get a professional to take those photos, or maybe sometimes you just get your own smartphone? But don't forget, you will also have people who will take their own photos and add them in. So user submitted photos are also really great. So the more of that you can encourage, the more photos from other people will also be a big bonus. Now let's talk about reviews. Okay, I'll quickly go over these because we know if it's a positive review, okay, we can respond and say, thank you very much for your positive review. What about if someone posts an unfair negative review where they're unfairly giving us a bad review? Well, that's also an opportunity for us to respond, because when people scroll through all of our reviews, they will be looking for the bad reviews because they want to see how do we respond, right? If they've got hundreds of great reviews, positive reviews, the customer is probably going to skip down to the negative ones to try and get an understanding of, well, what was this customer complaining about? And if it's an unfair negative review, then we have an opportunity to respond in a way which helps the customer understand what the problem was, and also think about what about a fair negative response. So that's another way of handling this kind of thing. Let's keep going. Events and promotions. Here is where I wanted to show an example of how terrific this can be for your local SEO. Now, of course, here we're showing something from Studio Hawk, because this Studio Hawk have been involved in the Melbourne SEO meetup. And here is an example of one evening when they hosted the Melbourne SEO meetup group. And so they added an event. They added the event to their local listing. And of course, they had all kinds of details here. The date, all kinds of things, their call to action. But this is, if you want to find out some more, I know that this was a huge success. We had a lot of people at the event. And it's an example of how you can start using these your local SEO presence to really go further. So I would encourage so Harry Sanders, Jake Stanley, those guys from Studio Hawk. If you want to find out more about local SEO services, speak with them because they will help you understand some more. Now, let me just keep going through. Of course, insights. And here is what I said about insights, because this is just the insights that the Google My Business gives you to look at. At the very least, you should be looking at this stuff. But you can also connect up your insights with your Google Data Studio. You can connect it up with all kinds of other third-party tools. But here we're looking at things like we are very interested in these stats. How many people are going directly to our listings? What about discovery? What about branded? And also what I'm saying here, what I'd like to say here is people often look at this, they look at visits to your website, and people often think that the whole point of local SEO is to get more visits to your website. But I would actually say that's not really the case anymore, because Google these days is trying to keep you on the Google platform more and more, and they're not really trying to send people from the Google SERPs through to your website as much these days. So I would be not discouraged if you have a low number of visits to your site. But what I'll be looking at is things like, yes, you do want people to request directions, you want people to call you, that kind of a thing. And of course, we always will be happy if we get lots of visits as well. And what about, let's go to the next level? Okay, that's the basics. What do you want to do if you want to go to the next level? Of course, Ravi will talk some more, and Nitin will say some more, but I'll just go quickly here and say, okay, you want to optimize your website to a bigger local, national, and international audience on Google search. So what about we want to track leads. We want to see which leads are converted through the website and through the Google My Business listing. What about doing all the work to a high standard and updating the Google My Business listing on an ongoing basis? It's not a matter of just doing it once and then walking away. We want to keep updating our Google My Business listing. Citations on other business directories. What about TripAdvisor, Apple Maps, etc.? These kind of things can be a lot of help. And then, of course, there's lots of new features that I'm not going to go into here, but implementing new Google My Business features. So, for example, what about adding product listings, adding products to your local listing? This is the kind of a thing. So this is where we're going with all this. I will just go to my final slide, because I think if we all put the right effort in, yes, we can become local SEO Jedis. And this is where I'll finish it off here. Hand over to you, Nitin. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Peter. That was amazing. You covered a lot of things in these 15 minutes, and these things were really, really, really cool. And I think now I've developed like a new hobby that I'll be, focusing more on local SEO as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. And now, without wasting any time, I think we can move to the next presentation, where Ravi would be talking about some advanced stuff. So Ravi would be talking about analytics and advanced outreach strategies about local SEO. So Ravi, the stage is all yours now. Go ahead.
Thanks, Nitin. Thanks, Peter, for enabling and creating the initial aura around the local SEO and giving the fantastic insight. So, yeah, as Peter said, I would be talking slightly more technical. I would share more insights. So this is a quick run through of what all we will be talking today. So I would share, okay, what are the key assets along with Google Business Listing, what we should create. The second thing would be some tools which can really help you to analyze and strategize. The third point is the success metrics. That's critical and very, very important, which we realize for our clients as well. We will spend some time on that. Then the fourth is the outreach strategies. That I think we all want to bring the juice to the site and the Google Business Listing as well. And at last, I will talk some insights about how can you do it at scale. Yeah. So I think presently, as we all know that, okay, one of the key in listing which we need to optimize is the Google My Business, which we need to configure, and that's one of the most important thing if you really want to enter this world. But along with this, what we have realized, and by doing a lot of experimentation, you need to align almost all these things. You need to build that strong foundation. Along with them, there is a microsite which is kind of a local asset to that particular business. Along with that, you need to have nowadays you have the local social media pages as well. So if you try to create the whole arena and all the assets, then it brings a lot of strength to you, and it creates a strong foundation for you to build upon that local SEO. So that's very important, which you realize. So you can choose these industry aggregators depending upon what business you are in, and that can really help you to ensure and give more signals to Google that this is, yeah, that is more of a natural thing. We are credible and we exist almost everywhere. The second thing, which is that, which are the awesome tools which we can use? Yeah, so I will start with a tool which can really help you to analyze that local listing. As Peter mentioned, in a very beautiful manner, how can you create that? But what I have seen normally, whenever brands come to us, or even like a brand having more than 100 retail stores, so it's very difficult for them to analyze every single store by going one by one. You need to use some tool. So I think Bright Local is one of the very good tools which you can use for analyzing that particular listing overview. What are the reviews? Are there any errors or anything specific on them lines? The second thing, there's no doubt about that. Peter, I also have the same tool, listing management. That's a fantastic feature of SEMrush, and which really helps you. You just put on their business name, the phone number, and PIN code, and you search for it. So it gives you all the existing listings of your business. You know or you don't know, they all exist somewhere. It might not be verified by you, or so it helps you to get them. You can catch hold with them. You can actually optimize them as well. Also, along with them, it gives you more recommendation depending upon your business scenario, which can help you to create more listings which exist. As I already mentioned in my first slide, that it's not only the Google business listing which you need to optimize. It's also about building that whole arena around it. Cool. So I think in the SEO world, the speed matters. So as I mentioned that along with the Google business listing, the key thing is the microsite or the website. So we all know this a very good tool, which is the Google speed test tool. And why I prefer this, because it is like analyzing by the master, or who like would be analyzing you. So you do a quick test on your portal and you see, and what's my recommendation is, okay, make it at least 70. So that can help you to give a better experience to the user as well, and also to ensure that Google also believes that, okay, this is a good site. And and there should be a backlinking, or there should be a linking of your local listing as well, so that it gives an impact on those lines also. The next thing, if you really want to go one step deeper, you can actually use the SEMrush and the GT Matrix tool, which can really help you to create those lines on the audit front. Yeah. The second thing, which is the hyperlocal intent to be captured well. So in this aspect as well, so there's a lot of content which we create. So these are the three features which we use very effectively. One is a keyword magic tool, which gives you all the exact details of various keywords existing on the local aspect. The second thing is using the keyword gap analysis. So which really helps you to compare yourself with a competitor, and then see, okay, what all is existing, and where you need to improve. And the third thing is a keyword analyzer. So I just give you, if you see this as a tool which is captured, so you select from here a couple of keywords which you need to be focused upon, and then you add them to keyword analyzer, and then it gives you more detail about the competition as well, and even the trend also, and how well can you use with respect to these searches happening. So these three features are really important. Cool. Now, an interesting part which comes, and we all know that without measuring, we can't improve anything. So what should we track? So yeah, so these are the few metrics which I would like to recommend for tracking. Apart from tracking the domain authority and the page authority of the various assets we are creating, we need to track the direct search views. We need to track the indirect search views. We need to track reviews and the ratings. We need to track the direct search views, the map views, the phone call actions, organic traffic to website. So when we talk the organic traffic to the website, when we track the organic traffic to the website, we need to add a UTM URL at the end. So it actually brings you more data in the Google Analytics and attribution. Okay, how many people are coming from Google business listing to your website. That really helps you. Apart from that, so these are the various keywords which are there, or which are the metrics which are there. And let me take you to the next slide. That people normally believe that you can track a specific metric for improvising, but what I strongly suggest that there's no standard metrics for everyone. You need to set what is your objective. Okay, do you want to get the leads, or do you want to get the phone calls, do you want to get the retail footfalls, or else what is, and along with that, what is your smart goal? What are you fixing? What are you targeting in the next 6 months? And apart from that, the industry you are in, it like really matters. What industry you are focusing upon really matters for you. So you have to personalize for your situation that what is helpful for you. So here are a few aspects. Okay, for example, if you are tracking lead gen, then these are the few things you can track upon. They used to track the phone call actions, how many people called you. You can actually get a CRM integrated where you can actually track by the number as well. The second thing which you can track is the traffic to the landing page via Google Business Listing. The third thing, no doubt, keyword ranking. There's no doubt about that you need to track the keyword ranking and where your Google Business Listing is ranking. So there are a couple of tools out there. Even SEMrush also provides a dashboard for tracking that. Apart from that, you can actually use Probot, or a couple of other tools are also available. Then direct discovery searches and the indirect discovery searches. Why we track both? Because you need to understand, okay, how well your brand is being adapted by the user, how you are being evolving as a brand as well on digital. That's really important. And reviews and ratings and the page authority. Actually, they are more of a trust building factors, but it's good to have a hold on them. When you talk about the website conversion, that means that, okay, you are driving traffic from the Google Business Listing to the website, and then you are expecting conversion. Then these are the 4 things you should track. If you talk about the retail footfall, that's very interesting. That's very close to my heart as well. That how can you bring people from digital mediums to a particular store? So you need to understand the consumer behavior. What will he do? He will go on a map and will view on or might click on the direction. So you need to click the directions, but you need to click the phone call as well. And that's like, that may vary from different context, but like in India, if you will talk about, people have a tendency to call first and then go to a particular store by getting a more surety about either the store is open or not, or what is happening on those lines. The third thing is the discovery searches. No doubt that has to be there for all these 3 objectives, whatever you want to focus upon. And yeah, if anyone of you wants a detailed tracking metrics template, then just send me an email on this, and I will share across with you as well. Then so how do you track the intent metrics? So people normally consider, or you need to check your tool again, that is that tool tracking only the Google Business Listing ranking, or is that tracking only the website ranking? And if they are tracking, then you have 2 factors. Either it could be in the top 3 when you're talking about the listing ranking, or it can be in the top 10 if you're talking about the website ranking. But you need to check what that tool is really tracking for you. Now that's a very interesting part, and I'm sure we all hustle a lot over here, which is that who is bringing the authority. So for bringing the authority, you can't only use one of these things. You need to have all these 3, like a combination of these 3. Either it could be both of them, or it could be all the 3 when you're building when you're getting a backlink from any of the portal. Yeah. So it's highly advised that you should not start doing all the kind of rankings or all the kind of linking since the day 1. You need to plan it well. So what I recommend that, okay, if you're doing the pillowing link, which is more of creating a foundation for them, so you need to start that from the month 1. So your backlink should look a very natural way, that how the way it is happening for them. The second thing, the contextual backlinking, which normally occurs when you have already done a keyword research and then you are bringing more juice to your flow. So then you start that thing from the second month. Don't start anything from the first month. That's highly recommended. The third thing, which is the paid outreach. Not only what we define that, okay, you need to reach out to the blogger which are having the high authority, and a local context is very important. So for them, you might need to pay them as well, or you could do a PR release for those lines. So that has to be aligned in the similar way. Cool. So one very important thing, that how you develop that hyperlocal context for the whole activity. So there could be three things what we normally use. So at times you are not able to convince the bloggers or any of the outreach site, so that would you like to give us a link back, or how you build that. So either you earn that, you build a relationship with them, and then you get it, or else what you do, you actually create different portals from where you can actually offer a cross linking to them. The second thing, which is really interesting, which we use, is we have done a setup using reply.io on a marketing automation campaign for negotiating emails. So no one will reply on the first mail. You have to send them at least 5 mails. So we have a drip campaign for the 7 mails, which we share with them on a different why they should work with us, or why they should give us a backlink for this particular brand. So that's more of a brand focused engagement which is happening with the blog, and you need to convince them at times. So you don't need to invest time for every single blog. You can create the setup that, and then schedule it. Along with that, before you enter the system, you have to choose them well. So it's a very pretty easy exercise. You can either use Screaming Frog for that, or you can actually do a Google search, find those keywords, and see, okay, what are the local contextual blogs available, and can use them. Yeah. So now let's talk about how do you do that hyperlocal SEO at scale. So what I mean by that. So either you are having a 1 or 2 or might be a 5 Google business listings, but what do you do when you have 500? You need to either use some technology or some logic based initiatives for that. So the first comes is making it a more of a logic based. I'm sure you must be experienced of using these kind of logics on a local like a normal SEO website. But yeah, what we recommend that even if you are naming the Google business listings, you need to have a standardized logic for that. It could be the brand supported by the locality, supported by the product which they are offering. So you create a combination of it, and then you actually share with the dealers as well, who might be owning the access, or you need to put it in that way to your team also. One very important thing, at times people don't have access to their local listings because it is normally with the dealers over there. If you are a brand like Mahindra First Choice or any other automobile brand who is having a lot of like more than 1,000 dealers across the nation, and they want to actually uh, build the visibility in the local areas. The second thing, which is how do you track the leads? You might be getting a lot of leads, almost around 1,000 leads a day as well. It could be a possibility if you are having more than 200 listings. So then you need to either have a setup of a telephony setup on the back end. You can use the variety of tools available. Nolarity is one of those tools, and I think Freshworks also works very well. So what do? They actually give you segmented mobile numbers for different localities. You put over there, and then you integrate them. The third thing, which is the keyword logics. So yeah, if you're optimizing for various localities, you need to have different keyword logic for them. The fourth thing, which is it's very difficult to manage everything on Excel. Trust me, you need to build a tool for that, or you need to use a tool for that. SEMrush can be one of the very good options if you already have a login to explore their features, or there are a couple of other tools as well which are available in the market. You can look towards that. Yeah. This is one of the last thing. So this is a kind of a trap. Every single listing which we have. So what we normally do, we we create a segment of listing. For example, if you have all these listings, then what will we would be doing? We will actually segment them and choose particular listings which we should focus upon. So these are the listings. We need to ensure that you are covering the whole area. That's it. You don't have to optimize every single listing. You need to create them, build the foundation, but focus upon only those which you think is enabling you to cover the whole New York City. For example, if you will optimize for every single listing, then it would be hassle for you. But if you will focus upon only the selected ones, you are still covering the whole area and you're still optimizing it. Yeah. At last, I think this is something which I strongly believe in, that digital marketing is a journey. We need to move at the speed of the consumer. If you don't, someone else will. And that's what is happening right now. People are moving to a store from digital. So that's one of the most fantastic problems to solve. Yeah. Thank you for listening. And that's Obbserv.
Thank, thank you so much, Ravi. That was so insightful. You covered a lot of things, and I think you, along with Peter, covered the entire topic. There's a lot to learn in this field. This is so amazing. Thank you so much for adding all those things, Ravi. And now, before moving to the final session, which is Q&A, where we'll be answering questions asked by our people, so before that, I would like to speak about the contest we have. Contest, so you can win a free ticket, absolutely free ticket to SEMrush Conference 2019 in December. So for that, all you need to do is repost the Twitter post that SEMrush is now posting on YouTube live chat, along with the reason why you want to attend the conference. So and then after the show, we will be basically checking all the responses and one final session, which is Q&A. So let's start with the first question. The question is for Peter, and the question is how to rank for local keywords like silver, jewelry, and then city name on GMB as well as website. So what do you think about it, Peter? Peter, can you hear me fine?
That well on our website organically, then we're also doing a similar thing, because the name of our business and the location of our business is what we can put into our Google My Business, and make sure that all of our the name, address, phone number, the NAP, make sure everything is set up. We have our location section on our website. We can put our business details in the footer. All these kinds of things which tie the two together. And of course, these days the EAT is a big deal, and there's no difference. It's still for local SEO as well. And so that is some of the things. There is a lot more, but let's keep going to the next question.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering that. Well, the next question we have is about bulk uploading on this tool for Google My Business. So the question is, can we add multiple products in bulk in Google My Business instead of adding them manually one by one?
Ravi, do you have experience with this one?
I think to the best of my knowledge, right now, if you are using a Google API where you can configure at your end. So what we did, we are actually using a OLV, we are building a tool called OLV, Observe Local Visibility, where we have a approved API from Google. So with that, we are able to do that to an extent. Yeah, I don't know a specific tool for that, but yeah, if you are a techie and you have an access to the Google API, you can actually do it. So they actually allow you
Right.
to override things. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Ravi, for answering that. Well, the next one is really interesting. So when you talk about Google My Business listing, so reviews is one of the most critical things, right? And the next question is actually about that. So how do you tackle negative reviews?
How do you tackle
Who wants to
negative
answer that?
reviews? Well, I think
Yeah.
is
So
are
do
we
you remove
talking about?
them? How do you answer them?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, the best thing is to respond. We need to respond. Now, but if we think though that if we think that the review is from a fake account or a spam, if it is a spam review, then there are steps we can take, and we can flag the review as inappropriate. That's a matter of just do a Google search for how to flag an inappropriate review. There is all kinds of step-by-step process that Google tells you how to do it, but they only review them if it is against Google's policies, which means it needs to be a fake account, a spam account, or illegal or terrorist or sexual or anything like this, which they say is against their policies. Now, if it's a fake account, which often we find they are, then they can be removed. But what I would say is I won't sit around waiting for Google to remove a review. Sometimes it can take a long time. And sometimes a fake review, we think it's fake, but sometimes it stays there, right? So we can try to remove it. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But the best thing is respond to be as a responsible business owner, and we can because our customers are reading the reviews. So that's my response to that question.
Mhm.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think that have a again is increase number of reviews because that's like one of the most important properties.
Hmm.
So Peter, do you want to go about that?
Which one?
Just
Sorry. Yeah,
can you
go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
repeat, Nitin, which one?
Yeah, the question is how to increase number of reviews.
Do you want to say this one, Ravi?
Yeah. So, there are two ways to increase the reviews. One is an inbound way where you can actually reach out to your consumers, or you can build a strategy around it where your consumers willingly give it. We have normally seen an behavior for people that people do review when they have a bad experience. They don't review when they have a good experience. So you have to motivate them. So that's one of the way. The second way, which is more of an inorganic way. So one of the that may not be a very apt way, but what you can do is you can actually create a network of bloggers and define a specific strategy around it, where you ask them to review you, and first understanding your business, and sharing their views on your on like your Google business listing, ensuring that they are reviewing from the different IPs. That's like a hack. So it like
Mhm.
works very well, and it helps you to build credibility. And Google also perceives that you have a diversity in reviews, and only not only with
Yeah.
respect to the content, but also with respect to the location as well. That's
Mhm. Thanks, Ravi, for answering that. Well, we have a lot of more questions, but we're running out of time, so we won't be able to take all those questions. But you can catch one of our experts with your questions on LinkedIn or Twitter, whatever their preferred communication channel is, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So let's move to the final round where I would request Ravi and Peter one by one to share their key takeaway and their preferred communication channel where people can reach them with their questions and they will be happy to answer them. So let's start with Ravi.
yeah. So guys, thank you for listening. To contact me, you can actually send me a mail at ravi@obbserv.com. It's RAVI at OBBSERV.com. Or else you just search me out, Ravi Soni, on LinkedIn, and buzz me over there as well. Both works for me. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Ravi. And Peter?
Yes. Thank you for having me. on the webinar and for everyone for listening. My key takeaway is give it a try to do some events post types on your listing. It shows people you are a real business, you're very interested in doing something, even if it's just a drinks night or open night for your customers, something like that, or even a lunch, maybe a lunch special. If you're a restaurant, you might have a lunch special. This is my key takeaway, to try this. And if anybody wants to ask me any questions, please feel free to find me on Twitter. And my handle is @PeterMeadAT. And happy to chat with anybody. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Peter. That's a lovely hack, and really appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, once again, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. It's really a sheer pleasure having you both experts here talking about this topic. So thank you so much for amazing presentations as well.
Thank you, Nitin.
And one last thing from my side, apologies for technical issues at my end. It never happened before. It was the first time, and I'm really, really feeling bad about it. I'm really sorry about that. And we have another show, which is tomorrow, where you can find Aleda Solis and Lucas on one single stage, and they'll be talking about SEO audit. So do not miss that. That's going to be amazing. And that's it from our side for today. Thank you so much once again, and thank you for wonderful support.